This bulletin is brought to you by Good Morning Vihalia. Enjoy the warmth and indulge in the deliciousness.
Good morning, good morning.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, fugitive businessman Low Taek Jho, as you know, hasn't been seen in ages. For someone whose spokesperson said he would give his full cooperation to the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission, he's still nowhere to be seen. So today it looks like the police have had enough of waiting for him to come home. According to a report by The Edge, the PDRM filed criminal charges against Jho Low and his father Larry Low this morning over the alleged misappropriation of money from the state investment arm 1MDB. The charges were brought by the Commercial Crimes Investigation Department CCID and the Attorney General's Chambers AGC to the Sessions Court in Putrajaya. Now, arrest warrants have been granted for both of them. The report suggested that the father and son are believed to be hiding in China or Abu Dhabi. Why is this important? Well, the arrest warrants will now be able to facilitate the government seeking their extradition. It wasn't long after that, in fact it was just a few hours later, when a spokesperson for Low issued a statement insisting on Jho Low's innocence. So first reaction would be, yes, if you're innocent, come on home, defend yourself, right? Well, Jho Low has other plans in mind. His spokesperson said that, quote, "It is abundantly clear that it would be impossible for Mr. Low to get a fair trial in Malaysia, where the government has proven time and time again that they have no interest in the rule of law," end quote. The spokesperson says that Low maintains his stance that this is a case of trial by media and that the charges are politically motivated. And if you keep up with the news, you would also remember that Jho Low's oversized big boy toy is currently docked at Port Klang. We call it the Equanimity. Yeah, Low's spokesperson also said in the same statement earlier that they believe that the vessel was seized illegally. This morning, the Kuala Lumpur High Court granted permission to 1MDB and the government to sell the super yacht while the court decides who gets to keep the proceeds. The permission was sought as 1MDB's lawyer said that the Equanimity is deteriorating and needed to be liquidated fast in order to prevent a drop in value. Jho Low responded to this in a statement issued through his lawyers, saying that the rush to sell the vessel just shows that Prime Minister Dr. Mahathir Mohamed's stunt had backfired, leaving the Premier with no choice but to resort to, quote, "an illegal quick-fire sale at a likely huge discount." Malaysia's first multi-grains brand, the champion is Good Morning. You know what I think we should do? We should have a 1 ringgit no reserve sale for the Equanimity. Let's see how high the numbers go. Now let's move on. In the wake of the fallout from the epic failure that is the Automatic Enforcement System or AES, Transport Minister Anthony Loke says that the Transport Ministry will be paying back the Armed Forces Fund Board or LTAT for their takeover of the AES project. But the show ends there. Okay, just 555 million ringgit for the AES takeover. Everything else from here on in will be LTAT's problem.
Our position, 555. Nothing more, nothing less. Okay, we are not bound by any of the evaluation in the previous case. We have seen the, I mean, I don't have the report. I was given some figures, but we are not bound by the figures, and we do not intend to review any figures.
Were the figures overinflated or?
Well, I mean, we will come to that later when we deal with LTAT. But as far as the government is concerned, our position is that we will only repay 555 million to LTAT. Okay? Because that it was a bad decision by LTAT to take over in the first place.
Without profit?
Yeah.
Without any profit rate?
Well, of course, they thought that there will be profit. Of course, the current chairman tried to justify it that it was a good investment. But that's subject to LTAT members to evaluate that.
With the Harapan government in power, many people are making assumptions that some things from the previous administration have become history. One of the people who made such an assumption is AMANAH Youth Vice Chief Shazni Munir, who today flew to Sarawak on party business only to find out that he has been banned from entering the state. He was turned back at the Cebu airport and has returned to Kuala Lumpur. Shazni called the move disgusting and said that if the current Sarawak government has the same policies, it is better for them to rejoin Barisan Nasional, while calling for such hypocrisy to be rejected. At the time of writing, we still don't know the reason for his ban. Our final story today concerns vanity plates. Yeah, the special number plates that you can bid on to spice up your car in that minimalist way. Today, Transport Minister Anthony Loke said that the government has lost over 100 million ringgit in potential revenue from these special vehicle registration numbers. Now, he said this ironically at a press conference to announce the bids for the latest special registration number series, which is for the plates bearing the word Malaysia. The highest bid was won for the plate bearing Malaysia 1, which clocked at 1,111,111 ringgit. And I thought I would never see the numeral 1 and the word Malaysia in the same sentence ever again after Prime Minister Dr. Mahathir Mohamad announced the end to former Prime Minister Najib Razak's One Malaysia. Meanwhile, the plate bearing Malaysia 2020 will be on the Prime Minister's official car. So, what do you think of all this? Would you bid on a vanity plate? Is it a viable way for the government to raise funds? And where do you think that 100 million ringgit in the previous vanity plate sales went? You know, Patriot, Putrajaya, Bambi, whatever. If you bought a vanity plate yourself, how does this make you feel? Let me know in the comments. Hit like, follow, subscribe, and share this video. Continue the conversation on Twitter. I'm Daniel Anthony. Thanks for watching and have a great weekend.